What's up, guys? It's episode 351. Welcome back to the show.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that none of you have ever imagined this combination of ingredients combined in your entire life. Okay? And I'm going to guess that you're going to be disgusted by it. Okay? So, hi, welcome back to the show. It's Jacqueline and welcome back to my kitchen. We are making pumpkin meatloaf with a pumpkin barbecue sauce, of course. Okay. In honor of fall, in honor of cozy season, you know, it's a beautiful, drizzly, rainy day here in San Diego. I'm going to get back in the kitchen with you today and make a meatloaf with canned pumpkin and all the spices. And yeah, like at first when I saw this recipe, I was like, this is the most fucked up thing I've ever come across in my life. Because I literally Googled, I was like, interesting things to do with canned pumpkin, and this came up. So but based on the reviews, based on what people wrote, I was like, okay, we're gonna probably have a good time with this. It's probably gonna end up tasting pretty good. I really want to teach you today. I'm gonna get into the recipe so in a couple seconds, but you know, last week I did my chocolate chip cookie recipe for my 350th episode. This is my second cooking show podcast. Make it make sense. I don't know. I'm like here with my entire like mic set up in front of me. But yeah, anyways, I did my last episode in the kitchen and it was fun and I got a lot of feedback. Like I'm used to getting comments from people or DMs that they enjoyed the episode. But last week when I baked and talked at the same time, I got like a completely different response from it. So I'm thinking you guys like when I teach you things in the kitchen. And as you know, I'm engaged, I'm getting married, and this is my literal like life dream to be a housewife and cook all day and like make food and bake and do all those things. And like, I'm literally entering my housewife era, like in the next, I'm getting married in a year, like it's happening. So I want to share with you all of the things I know about cooking and baking because you know what, here's the truth. Okay. You know, I love tooting my own horn and like getting really cocky on this podcast all the time because that's just what I've evolved to. It's just I guess my brand, my personality. I've made that my entire personality. Like, yeah, anyways. But I want to teach you all these things because whenever I cook or bake for people, they literally shit themselves over how good it is. And they're like so in shock. They're like, oh my God, this is the best like spaghetti and meatballs I've ever had. This is the best chocolate chip cookie I've ever had in my life. Like they're so dramatic about it. Or like, what did I make? I made this mushroom curry one time. And I just get like, people like freak the fuck out when I cook. So I'm like, there's something to it. Like I have this knack for cooking. I feel like I do a lot of things that are like extra and that aren't part of a recipe. And I kind of finesse it while I mix everything together where I'm like, oh, it needs a little more of this or a little more of that or like this spice or this herb. And so yeah, I want to teach you how I do that because I think following a recipe top to bottom for baking is like obviously smart. But when it comes to cooking, like when we make this meatloaf, I'm going to add some things that aren't part of the recipe because I can just tell that it's going to need it. You'll see what I mean in a second with one of my secret ingredients. It's like not even a secret because I'm telling you. But yeah, so let's get into it. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. I'm on Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, Breaker. Wherever you listen to podcasts, please subscribe. I'm everywhere. And leave a review. Leave a 5-star review. That helps me out. It helps people find out about the show. And yeah, follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, at Jacqueline Monroe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And yeah, let's get into the recipe. So this is from katheats.com. I believe she's a food blogger. So this is not my original recipe. What you're going to need for the meatloaf is 4 pounds of ground beef, 4 ounces of breadcrumbs, which is about three slices of bread, 1 cup of canned pumpkin, 2 eggs, a teaspoon of kosher salt. This is where it starts to get really weird. A teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of chili powder, 1 clove of garlic, half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, which is optional. And then for the barbecue sauce, you're going to need 2 cups of ketchup, 1 cup of canned pumpkin, 2.5 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. So there's a lot of similarities, like the spices are similar. Oh my God. There's a lot of similarities in the spices from the meatloaf and in the barbecue sauce. So I thought that was interesting. I don't have all these ingredients, so I have to substitute a couple things, which is really common. Like when I come across a recipe, I'll be like, okay, I don't have this or that, so I'm going to use this instead. And it always works out. Like, don't be scared to substitute things. Like, for example, I only have 2 pounds of ground beef. I need 4. So what am I using instead? Ground turkey. Okay. So I'm going to combine beef and turkey today for the meatloaf. By the way, my oven is at 400. I preheated my oven to 400, so that's going. And basically, this is like the easiest recipe. All you do is put everything in a bowl with clean hands, mix it all together, literally throw it in the meatloaf pan, put it in the oven for like a little over an hour, and then make the little barbecue sauce while that's cooking, and then boom, done. So, let's just like get into it. So I'm going to start off. Let me just start off with my ground turkey here. I do have some life updates as always and things to talk about while I cook. So, it's not just going to be a cooking podcast today. Like, it's going to be like me, doing my normal podcast while I cook, if that makes sense. So if you're wondering, like, I leave all of my jewelry on when I make meatloaf. I'm not like taking my rings off when I mix it up. Like, I just roll with it. So, okay. The meat is in the bowl. Okay, I just washed my hands because they were getting all nasty from the meat. I'm about to put them back in, so like, I don't know, it was like getting all sticky. So meat's in the bowl. Now, this is the secret, quote unquote, secret ingredient. I don't know why I'm making it like it's a secret. This is the ingredient that I believe the recipe needs that wasn't listed on the ingredient list. And for some reason, I'm thinking onions would be a good idea. So I have about a cup or so of really finely chopped up onions. I'm adding this. This might be like a big miss. I don't know if this is going to mix well with the pumpkin flavor, but, I did notice there isn't pepper in this recipe. So yeah, we're just I'm thinking, let me smell. Sometimes I do shit like this. Like, let me smell. Like, I almost want to Google, like, do pumpkins and onion. I'm just going with my gut. Fuck it. Onions in the bowl with the meat. If I'm making meatballs, like, I'm adding onions, you know what I mean? So like, that's what I'm basing this off of, but I just feel like it needs more oomph to it. Okay. Now here's an example of where you got to use what you got. Okay. I didn't have bread, or excuse me. I did have bread. It was that Ezekiel bread stuff, and it was in the back of my fridge, and it was a little moldy, and I was like, okay, I can't use that. But I had like a slice of gluten-free bread in the freezer that's been in there for like 6 months. I don't know. Okay, it's bread. We're using that. And I had a package of rice crackers, and I put this in the blender and made breadcrumbs. So this is going to be gluten-free unintentionally, but yeah, like, I would say if you don't have breadcrumbs, I always Google like what to use if you don't have breadcrumbs, and it'll give you like a list. But typically I'll just use, whatever toast, like Ezekiel bread. But yeah, if I honestly, like, worst case scenario, I'd probably use rice cakes. You just need a little texture, this adds, it's supposed to add moisture. It just makes it a little more full, and like, I don't know. I feel like what do breadcrumbs do, like, in meatloaf? Yeah, just like moisture and body. It adds body. So it's a pretty neutral flavor. Like it's salty a little bit from the rice crackers. This might be a little too salty actually, but I just know it's going to turn out perfect. Like literally everything I make. Again, this is why I want to come to the internet as a housewife, home cook, chef girly, because I swear like everything I make, I'm born to do this. Like this is what I'm good at. This is one of my biggest skills, like cooking for people and making food. So here we are. I'm sharing my knowledge with you. Eggs. Okay. Tip about eggs. When you're cracking an egg, crack it on a flat surface. Don't crack it on the edge of a bowl. That'll just help reduce the chances of a shell getting into the bowl. So I'm going to crack the egg. 2 eggs. Okay. Again, we're just dumping all the ingredients into the bowl and then combining it with our hands. Cup of pumpkin. Damn, I need to do life updates. I need to like shoot the shit for a sec. Well, I'll do it when I mix this. I'll kind of like tell you guys what I've been up to. Okay, how am I gonna do this? I need a spoon. Okay, not even gonna measure it. F it. Okay, a cup of pumpkin. I'm gonna do like more than that actually. It's probably a cup and a half. That's the thing about cooking, like sometimes, because the reason I'm doing that is because I added onions, so I want the pumpkin to really come through. I don't want the onions to overpower it, so we're doing a little more pumpkin than it's asking for. And then the spices. What was I just saying? I already lost my train of thought. Spices. So here's another substitution. So I didn't have straight up chili powder, but I have this taco blend from Kinder seasoning spices. And I noticed, now this is something you can consider doing when you're out of a certain spice. If you have a spice blend where it's mainly one ingredient, in this case, this was, it's called the taco blend with lime. Oh my God, this is going to have a lime vibe. Oh God. Lime and ancho chili. So, the first ingredient is chili pepper. So I need chili. So I'm going to use a teaspoon of this instead. That's what I'm getting to. So you've got chili, smoked paprika, cinnamon, salt. I'm actually going to take some of the salt out because I know the rice crackers have a lot of salt in them. And I don't want it to be too salty. And it's kosher salt. You know how I'm big on kosher salt. Okay, so add the spices to the bowl. Now we're going to add the garlic, and something about me is if a recipe asks for garlic, a clove of garlic, I'm adding like 3. Okay. I always go a little over the recommended amount because I don't know. I just feel like more is more with garlic sometimes. Again, this might throw off the pumpkin spice flavor we're trying to get here. Cause you have to remember I added those onions. That was a risk. See, I'm going to see if this, like, I have a gut feeling it's going to work, but like it was a risk, and adding a lot of garlic with that might be too overpowering, but we're going to find out. But yeah, I love adding, I love adding. I typically add more garlic than what's recommended. Yeah, that's how I am. You know, here's what it is. The way I add vanilla, like extra vanilla to a baking recipe, like the cookies I made last week, is like the way I add like extra with that is how I add extra with garlic, if that makes sense. Like I just feel like you can never have too much. Maybe you disagree, but it's just how that's just, these little things are what it takes to make people like shit their pants when they eat your food. So just go with it. It's all about like adding flavor, you know, like don't skimp out on the flavor. So I feel like that's not fine enough. I'm doing this by hand, making it really tiny. Actually, I need more garlic. So you guys, like, I don't know how to talk. Okay. I'm doing the recipe right now, but like, we'll get into, you know, how was my week? What have I been up to? What are my upcoming trips planned? Like, you know, there's a lot of like news stories I haven't touched on, things going on in the world, like the plane landing because of the diarrhea guy, the Burning Man situation, like that's old news now. What else is going on? The whole like Roman Empire thing where girls are asking their boyfriends how often they think about the Roman Empire. I kind of want to call Cory live on the podcast and do that while the meatloaf is cooking, because I kind of asked him the other day, but like I didn't really get a straight answer. So I want to see what he says, because I think it's really interesting. What I've heard about the Roman Empire, like the equivalent of the Roman Empire thing for women is like the Titanic, or what's the other one I heard? Was it the Titanic? I don't know. I'm trying to think of something I frequently think about, like history wise, and I don't really think of maybe like the Holocaust. Is that fucked up? No. Okay, now I'm like going in with my hands mixing the meatloaf while I'm talking about this. So if you want to watch me just massage some meat on camera, if you want to watch me beat some meat. Oh my God, this is not what I'm trying to say. If you want to watch me stroke some meat, go over to YouTube or Spotify to watch this. This is so cringy and dorky and stupid. You just really got to get in there. Don't be shy when you're making meatloaf, when you're making meatballs. Just really, just make love to that meat. Okay, really get in there. Okay, really, use all your fingers and just every part of your hand. Okay. But what would be the equivalent of the Roman Empire thing? What do I think about all the time? I don't know. The internet's making me dumber. Like, I swear, I have this, like, I don't know if you can relate to this, but I aspire to know like everything about history and like everything about like the economy and politics and like I just want to know about like all the things, right? And then I just don't spend the time to do the research, to do the reading, to like really deep dive into it. So I like don't know. I know a little bit about everything, but not like I know the Romans built didn't they make like this sewage system? What were those things called? Or they made the first something, I don't know. They built like the super nice roads that are still there. Shit like that. So, okay. So now I'm going to transfer our big pumpkin meat blob into the meatloaf pan, and I'm not going to use my hands because I'm like sick of washing them. And quick tip, if you're making meatloaf and you don't have a loaf pan, you can use a cookie sheet and form like a meat log on it, and like as neatly as possible, and that should work fine. I've done that before, and it doesn't turn out like a perfect square of meatloaf or like rectangle of meatloaf, but it'll still cook, it'll still be fine. But yeah, I'm gonna transfer this in now. I'm thinking this needs something, right? Like I added the onions, I'm like feeling all accomplished about that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's really gonna do it. It's really gonna take the flavor to the next level. But I'm gonna do something a little nuts. I have it sitting here next to me. One of my favorite ever items from Trader Joe's is gonna get slightly doused on top of this, and this is already disgusting to begin with, like on paper, like pumpkin meatloaf, but so like why not do this, right? So we're gonna actually, let me just tell you right now, I'm thinking this just needs a little special something. So we're gonna add like a little bit of pumpkin butter on top, and I'm thinking while this cooks, it's gonna like create a nice glaze. Now typically when I make meatloaf, I add like a ketchup to the top. Well, like I think I put the meat on the pan or in the pan, and then I put some sort of like, ketchup-y Worcestershire saucy glaze on top. And as it cooks, it creates like it like caramelizes. So I'm thinking for this, a little bit of pumpkin butter, because it's got, it's pumpkin, sugar, honey, lemon juice, cinnamon, cloves, ginger, and nutmeg. So it's got like the pumpkin spice flavor to it. And it's how much fat? It's just sugary. It's basically gonna be like a sugary glaze. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Again, nothing I make ever sucks, so this can't fail. This is like really full. I think, how many pounds of meat did I do? So yeah, you literally just like tuck it in. I don't know if you can see this on camera. Just tuck her in the pan. I feel like my mom used to make meatloaf and she used to do something to the top of it. I think she score it? Like draw a line down the middle with a knife. Is that a thing with meatloaf? Am I like, I've never in my life, number one, never in my life would I ever think I'd make pumpkin spice meatloaf, let alone do it publicly on a podcast. And this episode is on my I'm always like mesmerized by how many podcasts I've done. My 351st podcast. Like, what the hell? It's just crazy. Okay, so let's just smell this first. Yeah, this is giving like, it's giving pumpkin spice, but it's also like it's not like you're putting heavy cream. Like pumpkin butter, it's unassuming. Like when I first bought this, if I remember like a few years ago, I thought it was going to be like butter, like thick, like creamy butter, but it's really just a lemon juicy honey pumpkin spiced flavored thing. Like it's very thin. I don't know if you can see this on camera. Like it's not it's something you could drizzle. Like one of my favorite ways to eat this is over vanilla ice cream. It's like a little sauce. So we're just gonna drizzle her on the top of the meatloaf. It's funny, I was talking to Cory on the phone before I recorded today, and I was like, wait till you see what I'm gonna make, because it's like so not what you'd ever expect. And yeah, so this is gonna be an interesting thing to have him taste test. I will be doing that live on camera here so you guys can all see if this pumpkin meatloaf is what it's cracked up to be. And I'm not going to be a fake bitch. Okay. If this sucks, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be like, look, I should never have added the onions. The rice crackers in place of the breadcrumbs was the wrong move. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. But yay, it's looking beautiful. So I put the little pumpkin butter glaze on top. Does it need cracked pepper? Like, well, just whatever, you know, like just make it up as you go. Okay. We're going to it doesn't have any pepper in it. And I just feel like it just needs that to round it out. Cinnamon on top, is that kind of psycho? Or like, should I add a little chili seasoning to go with the sweet? No, that's messed up. Okay, we're not doing that. Okay, we're gonna call this good. I'm gonna throw it in the oven for 70 minutes, and I'm gonna make the pumpkin barbecue sauce in the meantime. So I'll be right back. Okay, the meatloaf is in the oven, and now we're going to make the pumpkin barbecue sauce. I have a saucepan right here. Okay, you're going to put this over medium heat and combine everything together. So first, we're just going to put everything in the pan. So 2 cups of ketchup. Just going to eyeball it. 1 cup. 2 cups. I think it's more fun to cook when you're not measuring things. I don't know why. I just feel like it's more of a challenge, and like you have to think about it, like think about how much you're putting in. Okay, 2 cups of ketchup, 1 cup of canned pumpkin. So we're gonna dip back in to this can. By the way, if you have a dog, they love canned pumpkin. Just gonna use this spoon that's kind of dirty. They love canned pumpkin. It's really good for them, and I actually love combining peanut butter and pumpkin and then freezing it and making little dog treats. So Jimmy's gonna have some after this. He's sitting over on the couch right now because Jim, do you want pumpkin? Pumpkin? He knows like certain words. I don't think he knows pumpkin. He knows cookie. Cookie? Oh yeah, he whipped his head around. Louis at the office with Cory today. He went to work, which is kind of fun. Like sometimes Louis goes to work with Cory, or sometimes I have them both here and we go back and forth, and yeah, it's really fun. It's like so fun. Babysitting dogs. What am I saying? Okay, 2.5 tablespoons of water. I don't know. Does that seem necessary? It really doesn't. We're going to do... Okay, now we're going to add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. 2. 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. 1 teaspoon of chili powder. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. I've already measured this out, so that's why I'm going to dump all this in at the same time. Boom. Like what else do I think this needs? Like salt? Does this have salt in it? Okay, it has ketchup, canned pumpkin, apple cider vinegar, brown sugar, cinnamon, chili powder. I feel like it's going to need a little salt. Okay, everything needs salt. I'm just going to do like a little 1/4 a teaspoon. Okay, so now I'm going to mix this up, and it's going to go over medium heat behind me. I've got the sauce heating on the stovetop right now, and I am in shock of how good this is. Like, I'm licking the spoon right now. Go to YouTube or Spotify to watch. Like, I was not expecting that. Pumpkin barbecue sauce. Like, I know you probably... Okay, the pumpkin meatloaf might be a little too much for you, but if you want to make something that's like fall inspired, something interesting and different for your meat dishes, pumpkin barbecue sauce is very good. And, you know, I'm surprised, or actually I'm not surprised because everything I make is amazing now because I just know what I'm doing. This taco blend ancho chili seasoning, it's like, it works. So I'm happy that it worked in the sauce and I tasted that because I know that it's going to work in the meatloaf now. Wow. So I don't really know where to go from here. Okay. The sauce is heating up. I'm making the meatloaf. The meatloaf is in the oven. Like, things are happening in the world. Like I mentioned, okay, Burning Man, that's old news now, but like the Kylie Timothy Chalamet thing is very hot right now. And, that's happening. I'm trying to think of what other big pop culture topics are in the news. Oh, I don't know why this was major news when it happened, but like Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas, getting a divorce. They're like really going after each other, and then like Taylor Swift was out at dinner with her. Okay, that's a thing. I don't think these are things I just don't really give a fuck about. But I will say, at first, when I saw the pictures or the videos of Kylie and Timothy at the Beyonce concert, I was like, my brain was like not understanding. And like, I'm sure you do this too. When you see a couple, not that it's the end all be all and that it matters, because clearly like they're a couple and it's official and everything, but like it doesn't matter. But like, he is literally a twig next to her. So I was like, how is she into that, like that body type? Like, she seems like bigger than he is. Anyways, but now it's weird. Like, I saw them at the US Open, the pictures of them sitting in the stands, and like, all these pictures of Kylie and Timothy are coming out, and I'm like, I kind of get it. Like, I'm kind of starting to like it, which is like pretty sure most people that like at first were like not understanding how they went together. But yeah, like, not that I'm really into keeping up with the Kardashians, but like, I did get Hulu. I did watch an episode of the Kardashians. Like, I think I watched the first episode of when they came out with the Kardashian show. Like, I finally watched that first episode. And I think that's when Kourtney and Travis first got together. And like, yeah, I'm like way behind on reality TV and all that stuff. Like, I really just don't even pay attention. But what other things are happening in the world? The election. Okay, I gotta stir this sauce because it's starting to bubble. I can hear it behind me, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be done after that. It only takes like a few minutes to like combine together and heat up. So I'm gonna take this sauce off the stove, and I'll be right back. Okay, this sauce is done, and now I'm gonna call Cory and ask him about the Roman Empire. I'm gonna ask him the question that's going viral on the internet right now, and I feel like, do men actually think about it that often, or they think like, or do they think about it as often? Like, do you know what I mean? I feel like they're making it up. I don't understand. Like, what are they visualizing? Are they visualizing like the ancient Roman like structures and the people, like, I don't get it. Like, what are you thinking about specifically when it comes to the Roman Empire? Does that make sense? Like, I just feel like it's kind of a hoax and it doesn't make sense. Like, but let's find out. Okay, let's see what he says. And then I have, I pulled up some fun facts about the Roman Empire that I didn't know. So let's see what he says. He might decline to answer. I'm going to tell him he's live.
Hello.
Hi, honey.
Hey.
You're on the podcast. Is this a good time?
This is a great time.
Oh, perfect. Okay. How often, I think I already asked you this, but I don't remember your answer. How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
On a daily basis, weekly, monthly, or throughout the year?
Just in general, like how often does your brain think about it?
The Roman Empire, boy, it's probably going to happen at least twice a year. At least.
I mean, say that one more time.
Random question. I would say probably twice a year.
Twice a year.
Yep.
Okay, you're an outlier. You're officially like not one of the boys with this. So, do you know about this trend?
No, I'm kidding. I never think about it.
You never. Okay, so I did a poll on Instagram, and a bunch of guys said that they're like, "Oh, you didn't have never as an option," because a lot of guys are like, "I never think about it." So you're one of them.
Yeah, I never think about the Roman Empire unless I watch a movie that makes me think about it, like 300 or The Gladiator.
Yeah.
No, then I'm not really thinking about the Roman Empire.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's kind of a funny question. Like, so you're not like a twice a week guy or like an everyday.
No, definitely not. I think if I was, it'd be in the Dungeons and Dragons or something. No.
What do you think? Okay, now I'm gonna flip the question. What do you think girls think about all the time? Like, what history do you think they think about? Or like movie or like? Because I was thinking Titanic.
I would say Gone with the Wind, The Notebook.
The Notebook.
I would say
The Holocaust.
no.
I think I honestly think about it a lot.
No.
Someone said that on a podcast. They're like, "Yeah, my thing is the Holocaust." I'm like, I kind of relate to that.
I wouldn't think that at all. But you have some gloomy listeners.
No. What do girls
I'm
think about Gone with the Wind or Notebook?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay. Can I get your live reaction about what I just made that you're going to taste test later?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm going to announce what I made and just tell me your thoughts.
Okay.
Okay. 2 words. Pumpkin spice. 3 words. Pumpkin spice meatloaf.
Oh boy.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh boy.
Yeah. With pumpkin barbecue sauce. That's very good, by the way. I just did a taste test of the barbecue sauce. It's very good.
Well, I haven't had one thing that you've made that hasn't been good, so I will go with it.
That's why I'm doing this. So.
You make good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like everything I make is ridiculous.
Easy, honey. Pull back the reins.
I know, but it's very, like, it always turns out really good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Okay, well.
Very good.
Yeah, pumpkin meatloaf.
Pumpkin meatloaf. I mean, I'm down for a pumpkin spice latte, but a meatloaf might be tough. But I'm always down to try something once.
Well, you're gonna have it when you get home, and I got to see what you say. So.
Okay.
Even if it's just a little dainty bite, and then we throw the rest away. No, we won't throw it away. I'll probably freeze it, or I don't know. Just knowing me and knowing my taste buds and how like screwed up my taste buds are, I feel like I'm gonna love it. Because I like weird food combos, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm game.
Yay. Cool.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here.
Always.
Oh, do you want to hear a fact about the Roman Empire? Okay. No, I have a question for you because, trivia.
Okay.
When was Rome founded?
Oof. When was Rome founded? I'm going to say...
Wait, I don't want to make you look bad right now. Don't fuck this up.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to say 750 BC.
I just got so... Okay. That was the hottest thing you've ever done. You missed it by 3 years.
Okay.
753 BC.
Not bad, right?
By the first king, Romulus.
Yep. Well,
Romulus.
You know these things here when you're a king.
There's another word you could say. Oh my God, that's true. Okay, so 750 and it's 753 and very good.
What else you got for me?
Other facts? Okay.
I'm pretty good with this stuff.
Romulus had a twin brother called Remus. Okay, the Romans built such a huge empire and conquered new lands thanks to their strong army. They would march up to 40 kilometers a day. I don't even know how far that is because I understand kilometers. Let me think here. Oh, they were the ones that built the aqueducts. That's what they're like famous for.
The aqueducts?
The aqueducts. That's what they like invented or whatever.
Yep.
There's a lot of things they invented that we still use today. Yeah.
Well, I won with that I got the year so close.
That was very good. How did you even come up with 750 BC?
Well, I just know. I mean, you could say the Egyptians were even probably 1,500 years before them, and they're almost 2000 BC, and the Romans were definitely after that. So, like, I just know, we're in the year 2023. I can kind of piece things together.
Thank God you're good at math.
Know history and stuff. Yeah, I'm good with math.
I'm not. Yeah, I feel like it's funny because I was thinking about the Roman Empire and I'm like, I know nothing.
Well, yeah.
But they built the Colosseum?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of the Roman Empire, yeah.
Have you ever
expanded to many different countries?
That's right. Did you ever go to the Colosseum?
I did.
Okay, so we both have seen it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
What's a wonder of the world that we both haven't seen that we should see?
Well, it used to be the Great Barrier Reef.
I just got a really fucked up thought. Okay, never mind.
The Great Barrier Reef is one.
I think you mentioned that.
The pyramids are one.
There's these waterfalls in like Argentina or like somewhere in South America I really want to see.
Mm-hmm.
The pyramids?
The pyramids. The Great Pyramid. They say that's one of the 7 wonders of the world because they felt like no man could build that.
Yeah,
so
there's so many. Have you seen the sorry to cut you off. There's so many conspiracies. You've seen those, right? Yeah. But then you know what? Oh my god, I need to like find this video. So I'm glad you said that. Apparently, there's this guy, I think he's from Canada, and he's like a super buff dude, and he literally debunked the whole like, oh, it's impossible. It was back in the Egyptian times when they were building the pyramids, it would have been impossible for men to like carry stones this big and like drag them and like stack them up and blah blah blah. And he like literally did that himself. He like did a mock version of it and like was strong enough to do it and basically showed that like it actually was possible. If I don't know, I need to find the guy in the video, but like because that's the number one conspiracy is like no human being could like, or group of humans could like build this thing. Like their strength wasn't enough or whatever. But
a lot of slaves died when they built it.
Yeah.
So
what are we building now that's like, what's going on in the world that we're building now? What structure? What structures?
What's going on in Saudi Arabia? They're spending $1 trillion on a new city in the middle of the desert. They're already building this out. It's supposed to expand from like, I think like 35 miles.
Wait, that building that's like a city in the desert within one big structure. Oh my god, what's that called?
I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, I saw that. So when is that supposed to be done?
Oh, it's going to take years.
Yeah, that just seems so like dystopian and like not, I don't know. Okay.
It's a town, its own little town.
How wide is it though?
Not very wide. I mean, maybe less than a mile wide.
Wow. What's
Yeah,
your
it's not
favorite
very
period of history?
I guess that just depends.
I'm such a basic bitch. Mine's World War II.
Yeah, I like World War II.
That's all I know.
history.
Or it's all I remember.
I like, I just like all the really cool architecture back in the day. So I thought that was cool in the Roman times, and just.
Mhm.
But I think probably I know the most about World War II.
Same. Okay.
When World War II happened,
The date it started?
and it started, and when it
Wasn't that when
finished.
they shot Franz Ferdinand? Or is that World War One?
World War
Shot
I,
or like executed? What was that whole?
1912 to 1916. But do you know the World War II dates when it started and ended?
I don't.
1938 to 1945.
But what was the Franz Ferdinand thing? That started one of the wars. Huh?
I think it was World War One.
Fuck.
And Hitler fought in World War One,
Wow.
and his dad was half Jewish. Just a fun fact.
Just like you.
Yep. That's right.
So,
Goodbye.
goodbye.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say about?
No, that's all I got.
Okay.
Any other questions you thought you could outsmart me?
No, what are some facts you've asked me where I was dialed in. I got it right on the nail. Things I already know about.
Scaffolding.
Huh?
Scaffolding.
Huh?
You knew about scaffolding.
Scaffolding. Yeah, you're like, what are those things called on the side of a building when?
I know what they're called. I didn't
No,
know
you asked
did.
me. You go, what are those like stacked up things when they're building or doing like construction? I'm like, scaffolding. But I know construction I can't even say it. Construction stuff because of my dad.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I was like he would like hold, or I was like holding the toolbox the whole time when he was building stuff. So yeah.
Doesn't matter how you learn. You learn from someone.
What are you pouring?
Agua.
Nice.
Honey,
how was your week? This is like now an interview show. Like you're fully the guest on this episode because the meatloaf takes an hour to cook. So
my week was awful, and then now it's getting better.
okay, do you want to talk about why your week was awful or just leave it at that?
And just wasn't feeling well.
Do you have like a hint about why it was awful?
Yeah, the bad meat you cooked.
It's my fault. You got sick.
It was the bad meat.
You want to tell them what happened?
No, I just got
You just got sick. Okay, from bad meat.
horrible food poisoning.
Okay. They can read between the lines.
That's right. All right, honey, I gotta get back to it. Love you.
Love you. Okay, I'll see. What time are you going to be home?
Probably a little earlier. Probably be home by 3:30.
Oh, perfect.
See you then.
The meatloaf will be ready.
Bye.
Goodbye. Love you.
Love you.
Okay, bye. Wow. Okay, so he is one of those guys that never thinks about the Roman Empire, which is really interesting because, like, this whole trend is making it seem like guys think about it like every single day, but I feel like that's not really realistic. Yeah. Oh my God. What else is happening in the world? What other trends? The tube girls popping off, the London tube girl, just being super confident, like recording herself on the subway, like doing music video, like lip syncing video things on TikTok. Let me just go. Like, okay, I literally have an hour for the meatloaf to cook. Like, it's probably got like 40 minutes left. So I should probably just pause here. Knowing me, I could talk this entire time. Should I do wedding updates? Like, do you guys want to know about the wedding? Oh my God, should I do like fitness updates? Like, what's new? I hurt myself again in the gym. So let me just bring you in to my fitness update. So back in May, you guys know I ripped my upper hamstring, my left leg upper hamstring, right? And I couldn't do lower body workouts for like a month or two. And then after it recovered, I went really light. I was only doing, what is it called? Concentric exercises where I'm like bending my leg, or eccentric. What am I doing? Basically I was supination. No, I'm trying to remember like what I learned in sports med about muscles. So anyways, I was babying my legs, my hamstrings. I wasn't babying my glutes. Like I could still kind of do glute workouts. But yeah, like leg stuff, hamstring stuff, I was completely laying off of. Anyways, long story short, I did deadlifts for the first time on like Sunday, and a week later, I'm still like unable to sit down. Okay. So my hamstrings were completely destroyed. I did hamstrings and, or deadlifts, and I did the glute ham machine. Is that what it's called? Or back extensions where you hook your feet in. And I was getting really excited. I was like, oh my God, I have no pain. Like this feels great. I added more weight. I think I was repping out 185. I did multiple sets with a band around my legs, and I was in so much pain all week because my legs like locked up. I had so much lactic acid and inflammation, and my hamstrings were literally like swollen like twice the size, and I really overdid it. So like literally knowing me, it's like, I'm not going to take a day off from working out. So it's like, okay, do upper body instead. So I did that. And then for the last 3 days, I've been doing cardio. So, which I'm like, you know what? I could use a little more cardio in my life. Okay. I am not as conditioned as I used to be. And I used to be a cardio bunny, and I would literally do like an hour of Stairmaster or running 5 days a week. And like, that was my workout. So now it's like alarming when I'm winded after 5 minutes. Not five, like I'm like, fuck this after 5 minutes, where I'm not like into it. So over the last 3 days, I've been like really embracing the cardio, and I feel good about it. Like that's a big tip. So if you're ever injured, or not injured, okay, I didn't mean to say that. If you're ever extremely sore from lifting and you're like, okay, I need to like rest and like not work out. Okay. Like gauge it, right? Like there's a difference between being injured or like really close to being injured, sore, and like just sore from your workout. So on sore days, when you're trying to quote unquote rest, you can do cardio, because cardio doesn't affect your soreness, if that makes sense. Like that's why I love Stairmaster, because you're just doing steps back and forth and back and forth and back. Like you're just stepping up. Doesn't mess up your legs. It just like doesn't take a lot of, you're obviously working out, but it's not going to make you sore. So yeah, because of my extremism when it comes to exercise and working out, that's just how I am. It's hard for me to take a day off and like just like rest. So at a minimum, I'll walk, like I'll power walk or I'll incline walk, or do like the Stairmaster for half an hour. So, yeah, what else is happening? I hurt myself. We're going to go, my sister has her second bodybuilding competition of the year, in Reno. She just had her first one a couple weeks ago. She placed really well. She didn't win it. And if she won it, she would have gone to the Olympia, which was really exciting because it was like her pro debut. And if you're a pro, like you can compete and actually go that far. I'm not very well versed in bodybuilding, but like I know that's basically the Super Bowl of bodybuilding, like going to the Olympia. So she placed really well. I'm super proud of her. Those cookies I made on the last episode were, I sent them off to her. So, she has to wait. She got them after her show, but then she's like immediately going back into prep. So she like couldn't eat them, which sucks. Like she's been in prep for so long, but anyways, we're going to Reno. So Cory and I are going in, next month, and we're trying to make like a full trip out of it where we go to, oh my God, I'm like hitting a wall. The meatloaf. Jacqueline, just go take a quick nap while the meatloaf finishes, and then come back and do the taste test and then the episode. Just hard. Like I want to check in with you guys. I don't want to just like do a cooking show and like not say anything about my life. Like I got to still be my typical podcast host self here. So Cory and I want to make a trip out of it and go to Yosemite and camp and then drive up to Reno. Do like a big weekend thing. So that's exciting. We're also going to Montana soon. We're going to San Francisco soon. Yeah, so that's like the upcoming trips. This is the first year like I'm doing Thanksgiving and Christmas in San Diego with his family, because last year we didn't do Thanksgiving. We went here for Thanksgiving and Christmas at my family's place. So yeah, I could update you guys about the wedding planning. So I haven't talked about that in a second. It's definitely going. It's going pretty well. I'm just like still dipping my toes in the whole process. And the other day, I think here's something about me that I learned throughout the wedding planning process is I'm so visual. I need to see it in my mind before it becomes a reality. And because I never envisioned my wedding, because I never like did the whole like Pinterest boarding thing, even though I wasn't engaged, or even like, I feel like girls like literally plan their wedding when they're single, and like they just dream it up like their whole life and their dress and everything. I was never one of those girls. It's just not me. And it doesn't resonate with me. Like, it's not something that's like a big deal to me. Like, it's like, yes, I want to get married. Yes, I want to have a wedding, but I would say that, but the reality of like picking out the flowers and the colors and the venue and like the dress, and it's like that was never something that I spent outside time doing. So what I'm getting to is I've learned that I need to spend time, like, I need to be like, oh my God, what am I trying to say? I need to like, yeah, the other day I Pinterest boarded all my ideas about the wedding and like the dresses I liked. And I like spent so much time doing the dreaming up of it, where I started to get excited. It's hard. That's what it is. It's hard for me to get excited and like really light up about something unless I can visualize it. And for the longest time, like I've been engaged now since May, I didn't really have anything imagined in my mind. And it was really hard for me to like get excited, where now I'm like, ooh, I know exactly what I want to do. I know exactly what I want it to look like. I already picked out the event. Like, we know we have the blueprint. So now I'm just like filling in the corners and picking things out. So, but yeah, I don't know if you can relate to that. Are you someone who needs to like dream it up in your mind before you can like put the rubber to the road? Because if I don't do that, I'm like paralyzed, and I'm like, I don't even know where to start because I haven't thought it through yet. Like, I feel like some people just go, okay, I just got engaged, I'm planning my wedding. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. It's like, no, I need to have the entire thing mapped out. I need to see the whole entire vision, the big picture of the end thing. And then I can deconstruct it from there. I can't just like do the step-by-step thing until it's the big picture. I need to like go the other direction. So that's been a big like learning lesson through this process. And I think that goes for like every area of my life, you know, when it comes to, for example, like having kids, being a mother, like something that's been really helpful recently. I just checked the meatloaf. It's doing good. Let me get back to it. So something I haven't really touched on and discussed, I think, ever on my podcast is motherhood and like having kids. And I think a lot of people say, including myself, like, I want a family someday, or like, I want to get married someday. I want to, like, yeah, of course. Like, I see that in my future. And then when the reality of it comes, or like, what am I trying to say? They haven't really thought it through and like asked themselves all the questions around it. They just say like, oh, I want to have kids. So something that's been like, it's so crazy how the universe works. Okay. Something that's been extremely helpful recently is literally like 15 different women I follow on Instagram, like influencers, celebrities, you name it, either getting engaged, getting married, or getting pregnant, or like fully having like a baby or a toddler. Because like I'm in real time, like seeing them go through the entire process and posting about it. And I'm like, it's helping me like wrap my head around the entire like thing of like getting pregnant and having a kid. Like I'm watching them every month, like post about their experience through it. And like before, what I'm saying is before, like, you know, I've been following a lot of these women for years. A lot of them came from like YouTube. Like I'm thinking Lauren Elizabeth, Julia Havens, Kelsey, Cody Coase. Are they married? Fiance? Are they engaged? Girlfriend? She just got pregnant. This girl from TikTok I follow, her name's Jacqueline Francois. She's like about to have a kid any day. Oh my god, Lauren Giraldo. She just had her baby. Who else is pregnant? I swear there's like literally 15 people on my Instagram every day posting about having a baby. So in the past, like I wasn't following this kind of content. I wasn't exposed to it. And here's the other thing. If you have friends and family in your immediate circle that are popping out babies, that are becoming new moms, and you're around it, you can like see it, you can touch it, you can feel it. Like I don't personally have that. So the thought of having kids is exciting and everything, but like I can't really visualize it. Like so when I'm back to what I was saying about planning the wedding, like I have to like see it in pictures and in videos and in posts on Instagram, like to really like get excited and really like imagine it. And I know that's like such a modern day, like 2023 social media world thing to say, because like I'm thinking of my mom and my grandma and my, you know, it's like what was their exposure like flipping through a magazine and seeing a pregnant lady? Like I don't know, or like it would have been their friends and family that were getting pregnant. But I think because of how the internet has rewired my brain personally, and just how I am and how I'm programmed, and just it's like I have to be stimulated. Like I have to be my body has to be like, I have to like envision things, right? So because of that, it's like I almost require the following of the people that are already going through that life chapter. Like if I don't, then I feel like I'm in the dark, and it makes me kind of anxious, and like I don't. Like it's like I'm seeing all these baby, like the stroller brands, the diaper brands, all the products they're using, and I'm seeing all like the decor in the nursery and like what they're picking out and the little outfits. I'm like, that is starting to make me excited, because I'm like, oh my god, okay, now I see what you do. Like, and that might sound so stupid, but it's been helping me a lot with like, because I like believe me, in the next year, 2, 3, like we will be with child, and like just saying. So spoiler alert about my life, like you already know I'm getting married, but we want to have kids soon, and this is something that I'm like warming up for right now. So yeah, it's like exciting and scary at the same time. I think that's the number one thing I hear from new moms, or like anyone that has kids. They're like, you're never ready. Like you can never, and it's a control thing. The reason I'm even saying this, and like the root of all this, is like control. Like I don't want to be completely like shocked by the whole process. I want to go in with like a plan, and I already want to be aware of all the things and be equipped with as much knowledge and information I have about raising kids as possible. And I feel like that's just smart. Like I don't think that's psycho or like extra or like whatever. It's just it's like you should, because of how much I take it seriously. Like I don't take getting pregnant, having a baby like lightly. Like it's not just like, oh yeah, let's just have a kid like willy-nilly. Like no, like it's something I'm very I want to be careful about and intentional about, and I want to do it like right, and you know what I mean? So it's been fun recently. Honestly, I have to say it's been fun seeing all of these women get engaged or married or pregnant, because I'm like, fuck, I'm doing the same thing, and I feel like I can relate, you know? And that's the beauty of the internet. Just having those communities out there that are going through the same life chapter, or that have been through what you've been through. It's like, so yay. I'm gonna check on the meatloaf again and be right back. Okay, I just pulled the meatloaf out of the oven. It's very hot, and my smoke detector went off like 3 times, so make sure you have some windows open or a fan going because this definitely was like creating some smoke in the house. But yeah, it's done. It's bubbly. It's a little crispy on top from that pumpkin butter we drizzled on. It smells incredible. Like honestly, like I feel like this smells like pumpkin. Like I made a pumpkin loaf and also like meatballs at the same time. I'm very excited. Let's do a taste test. You're supposed to drizzle the barbecue sauce over the top of it when you serve it. So I'm going to slice a piece on my plate and then I'm going to put the barbecue sauce on top. This just came out of the oven, so it's going to be very hot. Let's see here. I'm like so proud of myself. I'm doing this mic setup and like cooking at the same time. I feel like the ideal situation is I have like a microphone that's attached, like a little lavalier mic or like mics around the kitchen here, because it's like forcing me to like stand all stiff and I can't like move from this position. So pro tip, if you're a podcaster, Google the mic setup for cooking videos if you're gonna do cooking videos, because this is not the move. Okay, so plating the meatloaf. I did the end of it. Want the end piece. It's beautiful. It's steaming like crazy. And then I'm just gonna drizzle this pumpkin barbecue sauce. I'm a sauce person. Like more is more with sauce. Like I need as much as possible. I know most people say like, oh, that's just masking the true flavor of whatever you're eating. Like, okay, I roll. Like, no, it makes the food taste better. So gonna sauce it up here with the pumpkin barbecue sauce, and let's see if pumpkin meatloaf is what it's cracked up to be. Okay. And I told you I will be honest. Okay, however this turns out, my first impression is going to be honest no matter what. So okay, Jacqueline, don't be fake. Okay, wait. Yeah, it's very moist. I can already tell. Let me do like a little bite. I'm excited and also nervous because I added those onions and I'm like, okay. Ooh. It smells like cinnamony, pumpkiny. The episode is over. It's a 10 out of 10. Goodbye. Love you. Thanks for being here. Oh, like what? Am I just saying this? Wait. Am I just saying this because I had the sauce all over it? Like, let me try a plain meatloaf bite now with no sauce. Because that's the real test. Like, is the meatloaf itself good or is it the sauce that's making it good? Because we already know I love the barbecue sauce. Okay. What the fuck? What the actual, wait, this like, it seems like it shouldn't be good. It's so good. Wait, this is so good. What am I getting? Let me like really do the description here for all the foodies, all the people that are like really trying to understand this flavor. So okay, the meat is very neutral. Like that's not the star. Honestly, the star of the show is the pumpkin. So the pumpkin's coming through. The onions are not overpowering, by the way. I know that was a fear of mine. Like if the onions and the garlic, because I added extra garlic, they're not overpowering. They're just, the onions add a little texture, a little flavor, but they're not overpowering the flavor of the whole meatloaf. What am I getting? Let me try the crusty part. Wait, let me try. Okay, now I'm going to try the pumpkin butter drizzle part that I did on top, just by itself with no sauce. Okay. Are we doing something wrong? Like, okay. Sweet meat. That needs to be a thing. Okay. This is so good. The sweetness of the pumpkin butter with the sweetness of the pumpkin barbecue sauce with the it's so like sweet and savory at the same time, which is such a great combination. Like we already know this about food, like sweet and savory at the same time. This is a perfect example of that. Pumpkin meatloaf is a perfect example of how those two flavor profiles can combine in such a good way. So like meat, like I understand, okay, barbecue's already a thing. That barbecue sauce is kind of sweet. What other meats could we make sweet now? Like I'm trying to think of what other things could we put. Okay, here's a good example. We put cranberry sauce on turkey, the sweet with the meat. We're putting pumpkin barbecue sauce on our meatloaf. We're putting barbecue sauce on our pork butt. We're making barbecue with the sweetness. Okay, it's already a thing. So this is just, another example of that. I am very impressed. Please make this. Please tag me. Please DM me. Please. Also, I do want to give credit. I feel like I didn't really give her enough credit at the very beginning to katheats.com. Real food plus healthy mindset. Let me do her about, because that's where I got this recipe. Kath Eats. She lives in Charlottesville, Virginia. She has a husband, couple boys. She's a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and I split my time between writing this blog and caring for my boys. Oh, great. So she's a full-time like food blogger. Great. Okay. So she is Kath Eats. What's her Instagram at? But it's at Kath Eats. Yeah. At Kath Eats on Instagram. Thank you for this recipe. I'm very impressed. I'm going to give you a follow right now and tag you when I make this or when I post this. So, yay. Okay. It turned out. I knew it. See, that's the thing. Like I have faith in myself. Like whenever I cook, I'm like, I know it's going to be amazing. Like how can it not be? Like some people just have that. And that's why I'm trying to come to the internet and cook now because and bake like I did last week, because I'm like, I need to help you. Like what are the things that I taught you today? Okay. I taught you to add more garlic than the recipe calls for. Come up with things, even if you don't have an ingredient, like there's things you could probably use instead. I added onions that made this taste more, it gave it more like flavor. What's another like tip I gave you? Oh, so I didn't have all of the ground beef, so add ground turkey with it to get the full amount. So I needed 4 pounds of meat and I only had 2. So, okay. So you can add in different meats together, like ground meats. Just like feel it out. My whole method of cooking, I swear to God, like with cooking, I'm just like, I feel it out. And I think that comes with time. Obviously, I've had years of experience of cooking, and this started with my mom in the kitchen growing up and with my grandma and my aunts. Like we always cook together, and I still do this whenever I go home for the holidays. Like it's one of my favorite things to do, cooking and baking. Like literally when I say peak happiness, grocery shopping, coming home, putting food away, podcasting, obviously. These are like combining the things I love. And then creating a recipe from scratch and baking or cooking it. I'm like, this is what, I swear to God, like this is what life is all about. If you're, as a woman, like I cannot think of, I know this sounds like very traditional, cliche, like old school, whatever you want to call it, but there is something to being a woman in the kitchen. I think we need to get out of the office. Women need to get out of the office and back into the kitchen. I am a big advocate of that because I swear, like when you, and I feel blessed that I can do this. Like, I just feel like when you experience this and when you can fully immerse yourself in all of the housewife woman things, like you'll realize like, no, this isn't work. Like this isn't, I'm not doing this because I'm a slave for my man or for the home. Like, no, it's like you realize like, and this isn't brainwashing. Like I'm actually happy. like my favorite part of my day is the cooking part. And I think it combines the creativity aspect, like my mind is lit up by a new recipe, or the creativity of like putting something together from start to finish and like coming up with a recipe, or it combines like the nurturing, like feeding someone, like feeding another person, you're nurturing them, you're feeding, like that feels so good. Yeah, I maybe you've experienced this before. Maybe this is your life and you know, you're not new to this, but if you're like, I don't know if I want to be like a stay-at-home housewife, like, or well, that's not, I mean, I do work from home. I do have a full-time job. Plus I do all this stuff, but like, try it out. From my experience, it's like the happiest I am. And maybe it's just because I'm passionate about cooking and I enjoy it. Some people hate it. I know some women I meet like hate it. They're like, I hate cooking, I hate baking, I could care less. I like convenience, I like Uber Eats, I like, you know, they like the Trader Joe's, all this, you know, most of the stuff is from Trader Joe's. They like all the like pre-made stuff. They just throw it in the micro. It's like, fine. Okay. If that's you, great. But if you haven't fully immersed yourself in the cooking lifestyle, give it a try. It is so fun. Nothing, like I said, nothing makes me happier. It's like, Jacqueline, it's like I finally figured it out. The best combination or the best thing I could do is podcast, because that's my, like, you already know, that's like my main passion. Podcast plus cooking. Hello. Like, I can't believe it took me 3 years to get here, but if you enjoy this episode, please let me wrap it up. Please hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening right now. I'm on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Breaker, wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm everywhere. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast, okay? And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube. Hi. And leave a review. And follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Jacqueline Monroe. Share this if you enjoyed this episode. And go make some meatloaf. Go make some meatloaf and let me know what you think. Make sure to tag me and Kath Eats for the original recipe. So yay. Thank you for being here. Love you. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye.
I'll do what it takes. I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit. I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. I don't fucking take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty.